Hey, this is C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is Tony, and this is MMA for you. We're going to be doing our post-fight analysis for UFC on Fox 6. What do you think overall of the whole show, Tony?
I thought it was another fun entry in the illustrious UFC on Fox
4A.
4A.
Yeah. No, it was good. The main card, I thought delivered. We missed Bader versus Matyushenko, Jordan versus Russell, Natal Spencer, and Mitchell versus Thorson. But we got to see everything else. And I liked what I saw from TJ Grant, Matt Wyman, and all the main card fights. We'll get to the Guida fight as well. What did you think of the production from Fox?
Right from the get-go, they lose. You hear the music cue, but you don't see anything as far from the main commentary booth, and it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, it was kind of amateur hour, huh?
Gee, I mean, really, Fox was really like they caught with their pants down. I mean, this is like really bad production value.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at least the beginning, because I think you and I really complimented Fox on their that picture-in-picture thing that they were doing.
Oh yeah, doing the commercial.
That was really cool.
That was really cool. Yeah,
cool.
when they show the corners.
Yeah, you show the corners, but you still show all the ads, and then you get like a frame of whatever they're advertising.
Yeah, that was great, man.
That was cool, but like I said, that beginning snafu. I think Mike Goldberg just at the beginning just apologized for it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's get started on the card. Demetrius Johnson beat John Dodson by unanimous decision. What do you think of that fight, man? That was you know what? Dodson had his moments, but Johnson definitely was stronger as the fight went on.
Yeah, Dodson really just blew Johnson out of the water in those first couple of rounds. But just like his card just kept saying, just keep pushing the pace, keep pushing the pace. Eventually he's gonna break. Eventually he's gonna tire. You know, once he started getting those championship rounds, man, that's when he really started to fade. That's what really starts to prove that it's like Johnson's pressure just broke him.
Yeah, no, it really did, and it really showed at the end of the fifth round where he kept kneeing him in the head.
Yeah.
Oh man,
he pinned him against the cage and just pinned him against and just kneed him to death. I really thought they were going to do a ref stoppage because it was getting really bad.
Yeah, one thing that was stupid though is this rule. One hand down. Yeah, one hand down on the ground. Oh, you can't knee him now, even though the guy's in the same position except his hand is on the ground. It's becoming a really stupid rule. And I was talking to another friend about it, and it's like the purpose of this rule isn't for fighter safety or anything like that. It seems like the only purpose of this rule now is to game the system.
Well, that's what it's being used for. Yeah. I think that's what it was meant for intentionally.
I mean, but and even though what it's meant for, I think there's a lack of knowledge there because you're not protecting the fighters or anything like that. It just seems like, they need to change the definition of down.
Yeah, I'm fine with the rule, but just modify the rule. It's just, if you have a hand on the ground, that's not enough.
Yeah. You know what though? Honestly, I can see two hands on the ground being disadvantageous, and maybe that's bad.
Or maybe when they're on their knees or something.
On their knees, but one hand. It's not even a hand that's down. Sometimes they just put their finger on them.
Yeah.
Like their fingers are on the ground.
I mean, you can't blame the fighters because if they try to game the system any way they can, they have to
clean it up.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we're playing a game of inches. It's like. You have to take advantage of every opportunity you can. I mean, I don't blame them for doing it.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I think it's a stupid rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it was. But yeah, man, but yeah, I was really impressed with Dodson.
Those first opening 2 rounds, he was absolutely lining them up. And I didn't even think Johnson was going to make it to the 3rd round, especially in that 2nd round where he dropped him at least twice.
Yeah.
I thought there was no way Johnson's getting out of that 2nd round.
Yeah, one thing that Dodson was doing a lot too is grabbing the leg kick and countering with a straight left, man. And you can tell with Dodson, his left hand has got some serious power to it. Could you see these guys rematching in the future?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. This is a fun fight.
Yeah, and despite
it's like the division's full of fighters. I mean, eventually these two are going to fight again.
Well, one other thing too is I personally didn't agree with 49-46. I thought it was 48-47. Demetrius Johnson in rounds 3, 4, and 5, with round 5 possibly being a 10-8 and some guys' scorecard. As far as Johnson, you see Johnson get next. I know John Moragas is coming off that big win over Chris Carriasso. And Darren Uyenoyama came off a good one over Bill Harris. Both those guys, I think, should probably get Johnson next or fight each other to get Johnson. Benavidez is fighting McCall. I don't want to see a rematch of them. Dodson, though, should just fight near the top of the division. I'd like to see Dodson fight Benavidez. I'd like to see him fight McCall. So, yeah, there's good fights for all these guys. Okay, next fight after that. Glover Teixeira beat Quinton Rampage Jackson by unanimous decision. Thoughts on the fight, man? What did you think of Rampage's performance and his supposed last fight in the UFC?
Well, you never know. You never know. I mean, maybe he just, he doesn't see himself. He just sees himself unless he can challenge, unless he can be the champion or challenge the champion.
Yeah.
I can understand why necessarily he wouldn't want to still be in it.
Yeah, but he's always been for the money, though.
Yeah, I guess if he's in it for the money, then yeah, he's still a marketable fighter. There's still plenty of guys for him to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still always be a guy, no matter how many times he loses.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Unless he gets to the Chuck Liddell level, which is getting knocked out. But performances like this, I mean, he lost, but he didn't embarrass himself.
Yeah, that's it. That's one thing I liked about Jackson. I mean, he was in the fight all the time. He was giving up a lot of takedowns. He historically has a lot, really good takedown defense. But, man, he was getting taken down pretty easily by Teixeira.
Well, I figured with the fight with Teixeira would have been a stand-up war. I mean, I honestly don't blame him for not drilling his takedown defense.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And the stand-up war, Teixeira, for the most part, got the better strikes, even dropped Quinton in the first round. But Rampage was in there. When he'd throw a jab, when he'd slip and counter, you can tell he's still there. He's not the best. He's not prime Rampage. You can kind of tell. And you can tell a lot of guys from this era, like Shogun's era, Liddell's around.
Well, and they're also dealing with a different kind of level athlete too. Maybe they're not in their prime, but I'm sure also if they were in their prime coming up now, I'm sure they'd still be where they're at. We're dealing with these freak level athletes, these world level athletes that are in MMA now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Glover Teixeira, ironically, though, is 33. He's actually a part of that era. He actually fought in Pride.
Huh.
He's 33, but he just had visa issues and couldn't get into the UFC. But
didn't take the beatings that Rampage took.
Yeah, I think that's another thing with Teixeira too. Maybe he just taking all the beatings that Rampage took or whatnot. But you don't see Teixeira as you see him kind of in his prime, not past his prime. He's right there,
That's true.
I don't want to see Teixeira fight the winner of Jones versus Son.
Oh, definitely no. This was not that performance.
It's a good performance.
He looked great. It was a bit of a coming out party for him, but at the same time, it's he didn't exactly kick the door down for a title shot. He's a player now.
Yeah, he's a player. Yeah,
guy, but I don't know if you'd want to necessarily
put
him, give him a championship fight or anything.
Yeah, I'm thinking that Teixeira gets the winner of Rashad Evans versus Nogueira.
That wouldn't be bad. Actually, that'd be a pretty fun fight.
Yeah, or else, you could give him the winner of Mousasi versus Gustafsson, but I kind of want to see the winner of that fight get John Jones personally. You could do Glover Teixeira, Phil Davis. That's another one.
I guess that would, yeah.
But do you think Rampage is done with the UFC?
No, I think it's just a sticking point for him to try to get more money. The boxing stuff and then the fake retirement. This is straight on the Nick Diaz playbook.
Yeah, Nick Diaz. Or actually, Rampage's buddies with Tito, and Tito would actually play this game for a long time.
Oh, I'm retiring. I don't really want to fight.
Yeah, they treat me bad.
Oh, if you make it worth my while, if you throw money at me, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to put down Rampage or anything, but it just kind of, to me, it just seems like he's going to stick with the UFC. The best money's going to be there. I guess he can go into... I don't think he'll get big money in boxing.
Not going to get big money anywhere else.
Yeah.
Not going to get big money in Hollywood or...
Yeah, pro wrestling
or anywhere. No, doing nothing. Yeah. Sure, maybe pro wrestling one of these days, but he's still in fighting shape.
Yeah, exactly.
He's still got a couple more years.
Yeah, he does. Teixeira's hitting him with some good shots, and he didn't go down. he's still a good fighter.
Yeah, he's still a fine fighter. A lot of head movement, a lot of great defensive boxing from Rampage.
Yeah, actually, this was some of the best Rampage I've seen in a while. To be perfectly honest with you, he was in the fight even when he was tired.
Yeah,
and he was really tired. He was still in the fight, and that's what I really liked here.
Yeah, I just think he's got UFC sort of in a bad situation. It's like UFC needs as many stars as they can get, as many bodies as they can get for all their shows, and
he's a name.
He's a name.
He's a good fighter.
You can main event. You can move some numbers. I don't see how he doesn't re-sign with the UFC.
Yeah. Okay, next right after that, Anthony Showtime Pettis beat Donald Cowboy Cerrone by TKO in the first round.
Jeez, with a baseball bat to the gut.
Oh man, to the liver, ribs, wherever you want to. You know what? You know what's funny? I'm gonna say this, and one of the commenters on that regularly comments here actually was saying that that Pettis was improving, and I was like. You see the.
I personally didn't see it, but
you see the Jeremy Stevens fight, and then you see the Joe Lozon. It's like, yeah, you got a cool head kick, but it's Lozon. He's lost his sense. Yeah, he's hot and cold, and so that's when I saw Benson Henderson fight Nate Diaz, I thought, okay, yeah, Benson's on a different level. He's definitely improving a lot more than Pettis is. Then I see this fight, and now I'm like, oh wow, I want to see the winner, Benson Henderson versus Melendez, fight Anthony Pettis. And I think, I'm not going to say Pettis is going to win, but man, I definitely see that Pettis is definitely improving.
They both improved. These aren't the same guys as they were a couple of years ago.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, Pettis finished Cowboy Cerrone in the first round, a guy that's never been finished by strikes.
Yeah.
With a body shot, no less. And Cerrone's a good, durable fighter.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's a guy that's always in the fights. I mean, yeah, he lost, he got outboxed by Nate Diaz. He was always in the fight, though.
Yeah.
But this time, Pettis was just, and he was hitting, I was actually calling like, oh, hey, don't hit flashy. And
that giant cartwheel capoeira kick.
Yeah, he got and then he bounced off the cage and did a knee. And I was like, don't do flashy against this guy, but it didn't matter, man. Yeah. His kicks are deadly weapons, man. If Pettis fights Benson Henderson, who do you think would win?
I would pick Benson, just because, like I said, examples like tonight just proves, he's got grade A level striking, but I mean, I don't think his wrestling has changed really. I mean, him fighting Cerrone doesn't really change any of that. Yeah,
but the other thing is, if Pettis fought Melendez, who do you think would win?
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd have to go with you, because that's a toss up. I can see that going either way.
Yeah, exactly. Donald
Go ahead.
Donald Cerrone, though, good fighter, should stick with the top 10. I'd like to see him fight guys like Jim Miller, maybe TJ Grant, who did really good.
Actually, that wouldn't be bad booking. They're both on the same card.
Yeah, both on the same card.
Some
people actually say it's lazy booking to book guys on the same card. I don't think that's a problem, to be honest. Who else is up there? Jim Miller.
Or just easy booking.
Yeah, it's just easy booking. Geez, I'm always thinking, who's in the top 10? Gray Maynard, Gray Maynard's around.
I don't know if I do Gray Maynard. I can honestly see Gray Maynard throwing around Donald Cerrone.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Cerrone versus Jim Miller would be a good next fight, or TJ Grant. But yeah, Pettis, man. I mean, his striking was crisp. I like the guy defensively too. He's not a guy that, he did get hit clean like early on, like really early on, and then throughout the rest of the fight, he was moving, throwing his kicks, keeping his range, hitting some flash. I mean, he's a guy you can't really hit clean very easily. So he always has that going for him. And next fight after that, Cardo Bully Lamas beat Eric Koch, New Breed Koch, by second round TKO. What do you think about this fight, man?
Wow, this is, I mean, just the finish where he just was elbowing him to death. Man, that was some scary stuff.
That was some scary stuff. You know, it's funny. It's how this was set up. Like, Lamas slips. Coke tries to take advantage. He ends up on his back. And he takes the ground and pound. Like, he didn't defend it at all. I mean, his hands weren't blocking his head at all. I mean, he's just taking it. And then Lamas managed to get a really good laugh that made him bleed, and then some elbows, and Eric Koch was done. And Eric Koch, which was sad, I thought was winning the strike.
Oh yeah, easily winning. And then when he slipped, I thought that was just an error. He'll be back on his feet, and the fight will go back to the way it was. But no,
that just goes to show what little mistake can cost a whole fight.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. Carl Lamas, he's now on a really good win streak, beating guys like Hatsuyuki, Cub Swanson, Eric Koch. Do you think he's going to get the winner of Jose Aldo versus Frankie Edgar?
It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the other one he can get is the winner of Dustin Poirier versus Cub Swanson.
Yeah, there you go.
That wouldn't be too bad. Or else Lamas versus Dennis Seaver, number one contender fight.
Nice.
That wouldn't be too bad. Or Ricardo Lamas, Korean Zombie, number one contender fight. So there's a lot of fights at featherweight that can determine number one contender. I personally feel with that resume of Koch, Swanson, and Hioki, though, I think that's a good enough resume. I mean, he has more. I think Grice also is a good enough resume to get the winner of Aldo versus Edgar. I think the only thing holding Lamas back would be no one knows who he is. Right? I mean, quite honestly, I don't think many people really know who this guy is.
Exactly.
And this is a good way to start by elbowing dudes in the face until they're done. On Fox.
Opening fight on Fox.
So, yeah. Speaking of elbows, man, on to the undercard. TJ Grant beat Matt Wyman by first round TKO. I am really high on this guy. TJ Grant. He's on at lightweight, he's on a 4 or 5 fight win streak and fighting progressively tougher guys. What do you think of his performance here?
Wow, just a top notch. Just ran right through him.
Yeah, knees and elbows.
Especially elbows. Elbows. I mean, I think the guy was throwing more elbows than punches.
Yeah. Oh man, TJ Grant's clinch or tie clinch to knees and elbows. His inside game is nasty. And Matt Wyman, the only time he's gotten finished by strikes is by Spencer the King Fisher by a flying knee. This was just great. And TJ Grant, I don't know. Would you know? Watching this fight, that he was actually started out as a submission guy.
You were saying that at the end of the fight. No, I had no idea.
Yeah, you would think he's mainly a stand-up guy.
Wow, who would have figured?
Yeah, he just his Muay Thai. It's one thing if you get better boxing. His Muay Thai. One thing I also like about TJ Grant, and it's really not said, is his composure. You got a guy like Matt Wyman throwing haymakers, pushing forward. And this guy, cool as
cucumber.
Cool as a cucumber, you know what I mean? That's the thing. Cool as a cucumber, real composed, picked his shots, didn't overextend himself, found his range, and just knocked out Wyman, man. It was brutal. I think TJ Grant should get a top 10 guy. What do you think?
I'm not going to get an argument for me.
Yeah. I was thinking Donald Cerrone, Nate Diaz would be kind of cool. I like TJ Grant, Jim Miller. I think that would be cool. 2 gritty guys who are both well-rounded going at it. Okay. Next, right after that, this one has some controversy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As Clay the Carpenter Guida beat Hatsuhioki by split decision. This is kind of the story of Guida as of late. When Guida's losing, and when Guida can't totally implement his relentless takedown, top control game, he tends to have exciting fights like Diego Sanchez, Benson Henderson, Tyson Griffin. The list goes on. He has really fun fights when he's losing. This fight, what did you think of his performance?
It's just, Clay Guida went out there and just to win a fight. I mean, he didn't go out there to put on a good show. I mean, it just your typical Clay Guida. I'm gonna grind this, make this an ugly fight, and I'm gonna get my hand raised.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take advantage of the judging.
Yeah.
I won't necessarily be all that active on top, but I'll just do enough to where I won't get stood up.
Yeah.
And it'll look like I'm dominant in the judge's eyes.
Yeah. It's the thing is with what he's doing, he has what's called like stay busy ground and pound.
Yeah.
But even then, a lot of it's not connecting, and it's not very effective. I mean, as far as like causing damage and whatnot, it's effective in the judges' scorecards where it's like, oh, he's on top, but then you ignore. But the problem is, and it goes to show, not too many fights show this, but this is one of those fights, in my opinion, where the guy in the bottom was, in my opinion, clearly doing more than and doing more effectively than the guy on top.
Yeah, the guy on bottom was much more active, much more had much more offense than the guy on top.
Yeah. I mean, Guida was just defending.
Yeah, you can't blame Guida because he's out there to win.
Yeah.
And if it really comes down to the judges, and if the judges don't know any better, I mean, you're in your eyes. I'd say you would give the fight to
well, you know how I say, it's like how I see it is Hioki. How I think the judges will see it is Guida.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's always that thing. There's always that like difference. There's always that thing you're playing when you're judging fights. It's like, oh, I think this guy won, but I think the judges will see it this way.
Yeah, exactly. That's that shouldn't be so. So and so's winning, and so got the decision.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where like I see the argument. Guida was on top. The guy on top is usually.
But that's not. Well, I guess the wrestler is sort of implementing his game. But to a degree, it shouldn't be viewed as any differently as them both standing.
Yeah, especially since Guida, for the most part, was just defending the offense from Hioki.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Defending from the triangles and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to pass guard, but unsuccessful. He passed it, that's the thing, I think Hioki should have won personally, and I'm not just saying that because like I picked him to win. Because a lot of people actually think like, I picked certain guys. I think certain guys should win because I picked. No, it's not the case. I think Hioki is more. I think Hioki. The other thing with Hioki too had the better stand up.
Oh yeah, definitely. No judgment here. Hioki was lighting up Guida.
Yeah, on the feet, he had the better stand up, and
that's why Clay Guida was taking the fight to the ground. Yeah, he was getting lit up.
And then I thought Hioki was doing more from the bottom than Clay was doing on the top, and even Joe Rogan implied as much. He's like he kind of said it bitterly. Yeah, but the judges saw it that he took him down and had more control, and I'm like, and you can kind of hear his tone of voice of like eating crap while he said that. You know what I mean? Like his tone made it sound like Hioki probably should have won. Okay, next one I thought Pascal Kraus beat Mike Stumpf by unanimous decision. Not much to say about this fight. I think Stumpf might get cut from the UFC. This is 2 fights in a row he lost. Pascal Kraus, he's the number 1 ranked welterweight in Germany. Out of what, 5?
Yeah, exactly.
Kraus, to his credit, improved striking. He does have a pretty good ground game, but he shouldn't have tried it on Stumpf, who's mainly a grappler under Curran. But yeah, doing good in the stand-up. Just a guy, he's just coming up. He's kind of lower to mid-tier, but I'm seeing small incremental improvement with the guy. He's still young. I think he's like 26, 27. Yeah, next fights I didn't get to see. Ryan Bader beat Vladimir Matyushenko by submission. I read it was in like 50 seconds.
Nice.
I heard there was some weird guillotine.
Some wacky guillotine. Yeah, that's how it was described as.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Like, this was kind of expected, though. Bader winning against Matyushenko.
Oh, yeah.
He's just a better...
he's a younger, stronger, faster...
Yeah, Matyushenko.
Yeah.
One thing with Bader, though, he's in kind of a limbo where he's not necessarily mid-tier. He's kind of like number 10 of the top 10, but he can't seem to beat 9'8", 7'6", 5'4", 51. You know what I mean? Quite honestly, he doesn't seem like he can beat those guys. So he's in a really weird position. Like I don't really know who you'd want to give him next. I guess you can give him like a Phil Davis maybe.
Yeah.
With some Strikeforce guys coming, I guess you can give him a couple of these Strikeforce guys. Maybe the loser of Musashi Gustafson. I don't know.
So you can lose to him?
I suppose, Fei Zhao's another guy. I think Fei Zhao would beat him up, though. Right? Bader's just in that weird spot. His striking's alright. He has this really strong right hand, throws over and right. I mean, it's alright. Technically speaking, he's mainly just, he's a really powerful guy.
Yeah, he's like a gatekeeper for the top 10, basically.
Yeah, in a sense. But he's still young, so it's really hard to, but yeah, you kind of have to classify that just looking at him as that, looking at his resume. Okay. The next one after that, didn't get to see it, but Sean Jordan beat Mike Russo by second round TKO. I heard it was a comeback for Sean Jordan. This is 2 losses in a row for Russo. I actually picked him to win. I thought he'd be able to grind it, but I like Sean Jordan. He's a guy who trains out of Jackson's. He's still like 28 years old. Super athletic. This guy's like 250 pounds, and you can see him do standing backflips.
Nice.
Yeah. Heavy hands. He had a real crappy fight against Chuck Congo in his last outing, but it looks like he made up for it here. This was actually a really good win, too. Mike Russo is just that guy that, like his only losses before this were to Sergey Karatanov and Fabricio Verdum. And now, Sean Jordan beat him. I mean, that's a pretty good win. I'm curious to see where Sean Jordan goes because, he lost to Congo, but he took that fight on short notice. Might be a little too much too soon. Still a prospect in the division. Nice to see. And after that, Rafael Natal beat Sean Spencer by arm triangle. Natal's still in the lower to mid tier of the division. Sean Spencer fought above his weight class. I see Natal. He's streaky because he lost against Andrew Craig in his last fight. Beat Sean Spencer here. He's just that guy. He deserves to be in the UFC. He's a good fighter. Has really good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. His gas tank's not that good though. Mid to lower tier guy. And finally, David Mitchell beat Simeon Thornton by unanimous decision. I didn't see the fight, but good one for Mitchell because he was coming off a 2 or 3 fight losing streak. And now Thorson, he lost to Baczynski before this, and now to Mitchell. Might get cut, but he's an international fighter, so they might keep him from international cards. Okay, that's pretty much it for our UFC on Fox 6 post-fight analysis. If you have any comments, just leave them below. Any final thoughts, Tony?
No, just another great UFC on Fox entry. I think this is to me like the last show and this show. I think this is the model that all UFC shows on Fox.
Yeah. I mean, the next Fox card is. They finally figured it out. Yeah, Benson Henderson Melendez. It's always a lighter weight title fight, and below that is always prospects, but maybe they'll get an established guy, like a Shogun, a BJ Penn, a Rampage.
Big name.
They'll get a name, but maybe that's a little.
What else did they announce on this next one?
Musashi Gustafson and Cormier Mir. So Mir is that. Yeah,
there you go.
See, like I said, this is. They found it. I mean, this is
they found their stride. They've hit their stride. They figured out the equation. At first they weren't quite sure how to handle this. Yeah. Should we just have absolutely stacked, a stacked show, or should we just put on fun fights?
Yeah.
This way, you get the best of both worlds. You get up and coming talent. You get title fights that necessarily wouldn't do too well on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And you get big names, not like they're throwing away a lot of money, but you get
a Frank Mir,
a Rampage Jackson, a BJ Penn,
Shogun,
guys who are still going to draw a lot of money and draw a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah, I think they got it, and I hope they establish. It's cool though. They're even on the UFC on Field 7. They're defending the interim bantamweight title, so it's obviously. And on one of the UFC on Fuels, Stan's fighting Vanderlei. So they're definitely stepping up.
Really? That's on Fuel?
That's on Fuel, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and also last week, Bisping Vitor. So they're definitely stepping up their Fox efforts.
That was on FX? I thought it was on FX.
That's FX, yeah.
Oh, okay.
On FX. So it looks like in 2013 they're stepping up their effort for Fox programming. And I like that.
I don't know if I like Vanderlei and Stan on Fuel, though.
It's in Japan.
Yeah, it's still, if it's in Japan, it's just like, I don't know if I want to throw away a Vanderlei fight on Fuel.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, God bless Fuel. I like that I have it, but...
it might be Fox Sports in the future, so...
Well, that's true in the future, but I'd say right now, I don't know. I just feel like that's maybe a little too much for the Fuel crowd.
Yeah, well, so, yeah.
Considering you don't have the channel right now.
Yeah, I'll get it. Okay, well, that's pretty much for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.